All right, terrific. Welcome, parents, alumni, and friends of Mercersburg. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Tim Crouch, and I'm the Director of Leadership Giving here at Mercersburg Academy. Thank you so much for being here in a world full of Zoom opportunities. We're so glad to have you, and thank you to our panelists for giving of their time. This afternoon, we'll hear from a panel of distinguished alumni about their careers and have the opportunity to ask them a few questions. And afterwards, we'll go to breakout rooms for networking sessions. First, a few housekeeping items that many on this call, I'm sure, could give better than I can at this point. Please remain muted during the introductions. We ask that you change your profile name to your name, and if you feel comfortable, your business name by hovering over your picture and clicking the 3 dots to select rename. And we will be recording this session. Allow me to introduce Kimberly Kohlhepp, class of 2006, who not only is our moderator, but played a key role in the imagining of this meaningful program. Kim is Vice President of Development and Finance for Kohlhepp Corporation, a commercial property owner-operator in Northern Pennsylvania. Previously, she was the Business Development Manager for Plano Cowden, a Baltimore-based construction firm, and worked in asset management, property management, and acquisitions for Kimco Realty, Brookfield Properties, and Federal Realty Investment Trust. Kimberly is a member of the United States Green Building Council and NIOPS Education Committee and Developing Leaders Forum. Also, Kim is the co-author of Real Estate Development Matrix, a textbook for students and practitioners on the real estate development process. That's as short as I can keep it, but thank you, Kim. Thank you all for being here. And Kim, the mic is yours.
Thanks, Tim. Again, thank you everyone for joining us today. We're going to have some great discussions. As for the panelists, we have someone from private equity, attorneys, acquisitions, investments, and development. So we look forward to hearing some of your questions as well. And like I said, just some lively discussion on what is real estate and what's happening today. So with that, I'm first going to turn over to the panelists. You can introduce yourself briefly with your name, your Mercersburg class, your company, where you are in the world today, your role, and how you got into real estate. So we'll start with Fred.
Hello, I'm Fred Klein. I graduated from Mercersburg in 1972, and my daughter Susie graduated in 2011. I am a partner at DLA Piper, which is a large national and international law firm. I've been doing practicing commercial real estate, representing owners, operators, lenders, developers, and investors in commercial real estate my entire career, which is about 40 years so far. I am currently in Orleans, Massachusetts on Cape Cod. How did I get into doing commercial real estate? Well, I started work at a law firm in Washington when I graduated from law school after a federal court clerkship. And I had an opportunity to work on one of 2 projects when I was a first-year associate. One, either helping in a document review for a nuclear power plant that had been built but had a number of defects. And somebody asked me if I could spend about 9 months in a windowless conference room outside of Houston doing document review, or could I assist a real estate lawyer in our group on the sale of 3 pecan farms and a pecan processing plant in Southwest Georgia. And I said, I'll take the pecan deal. And that started my career. One of the first clients that I worked with at the very beginning was a company called Boston Properties, which is a large national real estate investment trust. And I'm proud to say that I still work with them today, many years later. And for me, the best thing about working in real estate is the people, because it's a people business. I love being around people. I've learned a lot about the business, and I've met some really great people along the way. And I will just tell you to finish that I love my job.
Awesome. Thanks, Fred. We'll pass it right down the line to Lacy.
Hi, I'm Lacy Rice. I'm Mercersburg class of 79, and I work in Washington, D.C., at a company I started about 22 years ago with a colleague called Federal Capital Partners, or FCP. We're a real estate private equity firm, which means we raise money from pension funds, endowments, high net worth individuals and others, and invest in our niche, which is multifamily and office properties. Initially, we were focused in the Mid-Atlantic, but now we're national. We manage about $3.5 billion of capital for other folks and leverage that about 60 or 70%, and own a portfolio today that's worth $7 to $9 billion. How I got into real estate is a long story, so we don't have time for that today. But after Mercersburg in college, I thought I was going to go back to a small town in West Virginia where my family was from, and like my family, become attorneys, but elected to spend a couple years in New York out of college, and that directed me towards the world of finance. And so I've been fundamentally in real estate finance since then. And the best thing by far about real estate is that it is a people business. Every element of the business requires others from different specialties. And so I've developed great friendships in working with folks like Fred Klein and others over the years. And hope all of you have had a similar experience.
Awesome. Thanks, Lacy. And on to Sam Goldsmith. Go ahead.
Hey, afternoon, everybody. Hi, I am Sam Goldsmith. I graduated in Mercersburg in 2007. And I have been in New York working in commercial real estate for the last 10 years. I'm currently in New York City, working with a private family office for a high net worth individual. Previously, he was the founder of WeWork, and so I work for his family office. We're currently investing primarily in multifamily assets in the Southeast, but we're a pretty dynamic group, and we focus on a lot of different things, including land in Costa Rica and all sorts of stuff. But I got into what I do. I think after Mercersburg, I thought I wanted to study architecture, and found that was actually really hard and a lot of work. And so was very fortunate to get an internship in college in New York City, and to both the point that both Fred and Lacy made. Real estate is a people industry, and so having a real estate experience on my resume in college helped me get other opportunities, and including after school, I joined a private equity firm here in the city called Tishman Speyer, and then made the move over to WeWork about 5 years ago. I think for me, I think one of the since it's obvious that this is a people business, I think one of the things that really got me into this in the first place was places. And I think what I really love about my job is the opportunity to travel, see new cities, and then apply sort of an instinct based on those experiences to really understand the dynamics in each market in each city where I've been fortunate to work. And I think it's so dynamic. Every couple of years cities change, and so I think that's what I really love, is kind of staying engaged in kind of the places around the world where I'm fortunate to have the opportunity to work.
Awesome. Thanks, Sam. So that gives you a little bit of background about each one of us. Tim, do we have time for a question for all the panelists, or do we want to jump into break rooms?
Yeah, I think that'd be great, Kim.
Awesome. So, everyone's talking about trends in real estate. Obviously, COVID had some major shifts, but there were already some shifts happening before. So this is a question for each one of you. We'll just go in the same order. What do you find to be the biggest or most influential trend in real estate right now that you think is going to have the greatest impact moving forward?
So, the question that's on everybody's mind, and there's so much written about it every single day, is returning to the office. Are office workers going to return to the office? And if so, how often will they return? What are the issues on both the workers' side and on the employer's side about returning to the office? And of course, what's the impact on real estate? There was just a piece in the Washington Post today about the federal government deciding, and this is really earth-shattering, that many federal government employees will be given flexibility to work from home. And the economic, the socioeconomic, and other implications just in Washington, D.C., of a major part of the workforce being able to stay home has huge ramifications. So that's the thing that's on a lot of people's minds today, in addition to many other issues.
Great. Lacy, what do you think's the next big impact? Lacy, you're muted.
Sorry. Work from home is a big one. Another big one is capital flows and cap rates and returns. And those who don't know, cap rates are essentially the yields that are associated with properties. And this has been an amazing time in the multifamily space. We've seen the government come in and provide $40 billion of support for our renters. Federal government also already provides through Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac material support for lenders to the multifamily industry. So a lot of people are questioning whether apartment returns have historically been too high, because if you've got the government supporting the lenders and supporting the renters, the risk associated with those investments is lower. And global capital flows increasingly impact return expectations. And currently the United States is leading the charge of the recovery. And that's led to a lot of capital flow into the United States, into real assets, and particularly into those sectors like multifamily, industrial, and net lease that have current cash returns. So capital flows and cap rates, big issues.
Great answer. And if you could tell me how that's all going to play out, I'd appreciate it. But it's probably too much to ask here. Sam, what's your take?
Yeah, no, I certainly echo both takes previously. I mean, I think I'm really interested in understanding some of the generational shifts that are going to, and also just tectonic, sea change shifts that COVID has kind of accelerated in terms of the ability to work from anywhere, and what that's going to do as far as the demands of the next generation around mobility and lifestyle, how that impacts home ownership in an already supply constrained market here in the United States, with some incredible dynamics in the single family home market as well over the last year. And so I think I'm interested in understanding what the next generation is going to require out of their out of both rental and potentially what the path to home ownership looks like. Also, I think here in New York, we've seen the retail landscape really turn on its head, and now with already major vacancy prior to COVID. I'm just interested in seeing what kind of creative destruction takes place as retail space is reimagined, obviously here in the city, but also just across the asset class in general, and suburban big box, and kind of some of the repurposing, but also some of the challenges that we've put on ourselves and on our infrastructure to support kind of the last mile and the Amazon. And every day, I'm sure all of us can relate to some level. I walk into my apartment building in the city here, and there's a mountain of packages every day. And so understanding how the future is going to adapt to take on that sort of that permanent reality of our retail experience, and what that means for existing brick and mortar, and also how the logistics can continue to evolve to support that increasing demand it's going to transform, I think, cities and the urban ring around them. So I think it's a fascinating trend to watch as well.
Yeah, absolutely. CBS Sunday Morning, they talked about the great reshuffling, where everyone's been moving and working from home through all this. So I think that's a great topic, and I'm sure we'll bring it up in our breakout rooms. And Tim, I think you're going to take us off there.
Yes. So if you can, it's almost like Jen, like our winter intensive experience with students. If you're able to put your camera on for our networking experience, I think it will be really helpful. And we're just going to break into two rooms and then kind of flip after 10-15 minutes. And our panelists will split depending on the room you're in. And then we'll just go about, there may be specific subject matter we'll want to delve into, or just simply do introductions. I think we'll be in nice intimate groups here. So Denise, without further ado, break us up. Bear with us here for a couple moments as the Zoom magic happens.
Jen, seems like things are moving well and conversations are good and balanced.
Yeah, I think so. Zoom is always such a funny format. How many people have done networking events on Zoom? Like there's been a lot. I mean, yeah, me, right?
Yeah.
So any tips and tricks are appreciated because it's, like Tim said with our students, we each taught a winter intensive. And you've definitely had to like call out people. Turn your camera on, smile, show us your face.
Hey,
I
Jen,
agree.
before we get to the most important part of the program,
Yes.
the Mercersburg lightning round for our panelists, Jen, could you help kind of give the LinkedIn plugs and the Google form
Yep.
directory introduction to put
Yep.
you on the spot?
Sure. So we are thrilled that you guys came here today, obviously with the hope and goal of connecting with each other and networking. When I graduated from St. Lawrence College, I immediately thought of Mercersburg as a place where I could connect with people for the next steps in my career, more so than my college. And networking in terms of our community has grown quite a bit. Denise just threw in the chat the LinkedIn group. It's the Mercersburg Academy Alumni and Parent LinkedIn group. I hope that if you're not already a member of that you'll join that group. There are daily posts on job opportunities, internships, people who are looking to connect in all sorts of industries. There's almost 1,600 members of that group. The other plug I will make is that if you don't have Mercersburg Academy in your LinkedIn profile, please add it as a part of your education, because you can easily search on LinkedIn for school and industry. And right now we're in the absence of having an online directory. So, I'm probably, if somebody contacts me and said I'm interested in networking in real estate, I'm probably going to drive you to LinkedIn to connect with folks there. I mean, I'll have some names and be willing to make some introductions, but that is our main go-to place right now for LinkedIn.
And Denise, can you throw in the Google form?
Yep,
Yes.
it's there.
Yes, it's there. And if you're comfortable, we'll share that with everyone on the call on the back end. There may be a little bit of a time in between when you fill out the form and when you get it, but we promise to share that. Okay, so Kim, you get to participate in the lightning round as well. So you handed over the keys as the moderator. Thank you again for serving in that role so ably. We're going to go around the horn and I'll just call on everyone with some rapid fire panelist questions, Mercersburg related. Kim, please start us off. Favorite Mercersburg tradition?
Step songs.
All right. Lacy, favorite Mercersburg tradition?
God, there are a lot. Beer on top of the water tower.
Fred,
The chocolate milk. Come on, Tim.
I do the answer to that. Sam?
Definitely the bleaching my hair with the men's swim team before Easterns every year.
Nice. Memorable Mercersburg faculty member. Kim, go.
Derry Mason, English.
Awesome. Lacy, I know this one.
Yeah, Carl the Ripper Reisner.
Fred.
Dennis Campbell.
Sam.
Gotta be Pistol Pete, Coach Pete.
Irving or Marshall? Kim.
Marshall.
Lacy.
Marshall.
Fred.
Marshall.
Sam.
Irving. What's going on? Irving,
Sam, you're outnumbered.
Yeah, man. I don't know what's going on.
I mean, it's like
This is a trap.
it's anecdotal, but I really just feel like Marshall people are more connected and involved. I don't know. Something about it.
Favorite spot on campus? Kim, go.
The chapel.
Lacy.
Gosh, it'd probably have to be James Buchanan Cabin at 9:30 weekdays.
My favorite spot, walking into Ford Hall.
Sam.
It's
like
lunchtime.
the Smoyer Tennis Center.
Nice. Pretzel pie or chocolate chip cookie pie? Kim, go.
Apple pie, classic.
Lacy.
I don't think we had either of those. We had the infamous cheesy egg burger and a long list of really unforgettably bad food. So
Is Romeo still there?
Yes. Fred.
We didn't have those things way back when, but mystery meat is definitely at the top of the
Sam.
I'm gonna go with the true dessert, which was the fourth meal of the day, which was definitely some type of like disgusting, cup of noodle, or if you're lucky, the rare delivery meal from the Egg Roll King.
Oh, yeah.
Hot spicy beef combo, please.
There we go.
What's on your nightstand, Kim?
A bottle of melatonin to fall asleep, an unfinished glass of wine, and the book I just finished was Act Like an Owner, which is how to build an ownership culture at your company to empower all of your employees to make good decisions on your behalf.
Awesome. Lacy? Did we lose Lacy?
A variety of books, but most recent Santorum, which is a fascinating novel written by a Australian drug addict who reformed and told his life story of being a global refugee and drug smuggler. It's
It's a
amazing.
great book. Great book.
Yeah.
Cool. Fred?
I'm reading a book called Great Fortune by Daniel Okrent, which is the story of the development of Rockefeller Center in New York. It's an absolutely fascinating, great story that I highly recommend to anybody interested in real estate and in particular architecture.
Awesome. Sam?
I've got this book. It's called Tides by Jonathan White, and it's a kind of global summary of some of the most interesting tidal patterns and tides on the planet. I've recently gotten into surfing, and so this is sort of like the spiritual, scientific grounding and contextualizing of the sport that I'm trying to do, which will indirectly make me a better surfer.
Nice.
Fantastic. Peter, thanks for coming off mute. Any questions, comments for the group before we close here?
No, I enjoyed this more than I thought. This was great. Thank you for inviting me.
Like keep the expectations low so we can shoot over them, So thank you, Kim, Lacy, Fred, and Sam. You all are amazing, incredibly bright and talented. Thank you all for joining this session here today and giving us on campus some Mercersburg warm and fuzzies through connecting with our folks who we miss dearly in person. And like we've shared with those who gave of their time on the panel, that we expect this kind of program to endure when we're back doing things in real life, so to speak. And whether that takes specific form, like Sam, I think you suggested including, an architecture thread at some point as a piggyback on real estate. But what a wonderful group of people to bring together. And for those of you who are just getting your start, I think you can't go wrong with reaching out to anyone you connected with today for some really thoughtful, kind advice. So we're incredibly grateful and hope you all take care. Jen or Denise, am I missing anything obvious here?
No, I think this is one of our last virtual events for the year. We do have some programming planned for reunion weekend for those who are celebrating. It's open to all alumni. You can check it out at mercersburg.edu/reunion weekend. But we'll go a little quiet for the summer. Everyone have a wonderful summer. And we'll see you hopefully in person, in the flesh, sometime soon.
And thank you, Tim and Jen, for making this such a communal event and for all you do always to do. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Great
Absolutely.
job.
Pleasure.
Nice to see
Thank you.
everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Everyone, be
Thanks,
well.
everyone.
Bye.